Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining for today's real estate roundtable from the Global Chamber. And today, I actually wanted to get to know everybody a little bit better and also hear about some of the updates from everybody because I know, Alexa, you are in the Middle East. So please share with us what you've learned and why you travel all the way over there and then we'll be coming back in 30 hours back to home. So, so Alexa, please go ahead. Yeah.
I came here, I have family here. So my brother is a civil engineer and he works with Aramco in Saudi Arabia. So I came to visit. It was not the best time to visit with everything that was going on. So we had a little bit of a scare on Monday, but I was extremely surprised by the construction that is happening. They have Vision 2030. So Saudi Arabia, especially around Aramco, Dhahran, Khobar, it's been constructed. I've never seen so much construction in my life anywhere. The architecture is amazing. It's very contemporary and modern, which for me was a bit a surprise as well. And they opened real estate to foreigners, I think a couple of years ago. So I just dived into it and started educating myself a little bit about real estate here and construction. While I was here, I stayed only for 5 days. So I was in and out, but I need to get into it a little bit more because I have some contacts in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, but Saudi Arabia is a new, you know, it's something new. It's a new place. And I think it's a very interesting place. But now I'm coming back to Phoenix. I have a few closings next week, and then I'm flying to Greece in 3 weeks, and that's more for real estate. So I am talking to a couple of real estate agents there. They want me to promote their listings here in the US um, and see how I'm going to collaborate with more people there.
Thank you, Alexa. So you mentioned that because that's one of the things that I was talking with various different investors in other country. They were saying that Middle East, Dubai, as everybody know, was a very hot market, and also Abu Dhabi is more the family office, right? That's
Mhm.
where most of the family office are, and of course all the royalties are there, and so that's why people are saying the next hot place that's happening right now is going to be
Saudi Arabia.
where you're at, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
That is correct. Yeah. So from what you see, have you been to Dubai before, right? And also Abu Dhabi. So compared to those, what are you seeing, from,
It's in infancy.
Mhm,
Like it's nothing like Dubai, but the plans that they have, and if they succeed, um, they're very impressive. Like they have the Vision 2030. They're rebuilding everywhere, all the sea line, seafront, and of course they have the World Cup in 2034. So
mhm.
they're also creating new stadiums and everything that has to do with that. So I took some videos, but it's extraordinary. Like
Mhm.
everything is happening at once. I mean, I've been in places that there was construction going on. I mean, Phoenix, since I moved to Phoenix in 2010, it has expanded a lot, but it was gradual. It was fast, but it was gradual. This is like all at the same time. It's like the desert is being built at the same time everywhere.
Well, it will not look like a desert anymore after
No,
everything
I
is
think
built, right? Yeah.
I was
Mhm.
told that they actually build water like areas with water.
Mhm.
They fill them in order to build on top of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Wow, that's pretty amazing. I mean, it'll be great next time once you get back to Phoenix, maybe our next meeting, show us some photos, some pictures you've seen. I
Yes,
think it'll be
I took
nice.
some videos.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I took some videos. I went to a apartment complex that
Yep.
was rentals, and I
Hmm.
was like, it was luxury. It was wonderful. I haven't seen something like this in the US. It was so good.
Oh. Well, it will be
So
nice for you to share with us next time once you're more settled. And I know right now you're probably at the airport, but we would love to
yes,
see the video, learn more about. And when you talk about luxury in that area and the luxury in the US, it's quite different, right? As you know,
yes,
right? Because
yeah,
the building
yeah,
material they want to use, it's always, top of the notch, and the color scheme, everything is really different, right? Compared to
yes.
what's being used in North America. Yeah.
And you
So.
can see a lot
Mhm,
of difference in styles. I mean, you have
mhm,
the older mansions that are more of a Arabic architecture, and
mhm,
then across the street you see like extra contemporary straight lines, concrete and glass, and all of that. So, and then you have Bahrain,
mhm,
which is more developed than, of course, Saudi for now,
mhm,
but less developed than Dubai.
mhm,
So there is a lot of growth going on everywhere.
mhm. Well, thank you so much, Alexis, for sharing your trip with us. I think next week, when you have a chance, we would like to look at the videos and also
Yeah.
look at the photos for that. And of course, the other thing you mentioned is Greece, right? So,
Yes.
would you like to share a little bit about Greece? Because I know there is a lot of people looking to. Previously, there's Golden Visa, and there's also a lot of people moving over
Yes.
there too. So maybe
So
share with us a little bit about that
Greece
too.
is
Yeah.
one of the few places that are given golden visa through real estate. There
Mm-hmm.
are other ways to get golden visas in any countries, but for real estate, there are very few at the moment. And Greece has two price points, depending on the area. They just went up about a year ago. They used to be 200,000 and then 400,000. Now it's 400,000 and 800,000, depending on the area you want to invest. Of course, high, the higher end areas or the more popular areas um, uh, require 800, and then the less popular areas or regeneration areas is 400,000. I'm going to be meeting a developer when I go down, and that's what they're working with. They actually make developments and they tailor it to Golden Visa. Uh, People who are interested in getting the Golden Visas,
Mm-hmm.
and Greece is a great place to vacation, to have a second home. If you're retired, it's a great place. If you work from remotely, it's a great place. Um, but moving there to work from Greece, like in Greece, is not the same. So there are a lot of investors. There are a lot of people who are coming from um, a lot of people from the Middle East. Everyone who wants to get the golden visa from the Middle East or um, Egypt, they will come to Greece. There is a lot of money that's flooding Greece at the moment because of the golden visa opportunity. So, and there is a lot of construction as well, especially in the south of Athens,
Mm-hmm.
which is called the Athenian Riviera. I
Yeah.
actually posted last 2 weeks ago on my social media a villa that from there that is on the market at the moment. Uh, that's like the French Riviera, but not as known.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very luxurious. You have all the yachts, you have all the things that you have there.
And that's why people wanted to go. That's where we see the opportunity, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
because you're there and you've seen it, you see where the opportunities are. And that's why we have this group to share with each other about all these investment opportunities that's either people do not know about, or it's basically eventually people find out about it, but we'll be the first one to know because we are the ones that travel there and also know the basically the eyes and foot on the ground, right, to see all these different projects, right? So yeah, no, thank you so much for sharing that. And so when you come back from Greece, we also want to, you know, learn more about the golden visa opportunity because I do know there's a not not only just one developer, there's a lot of developer there.
There are a lot of developers,
Yeah, they're
a lot.
focusing on that. So I think there's a lot of immigration company also that focus on those too. So when investors do buy into those projects, they also have to go through the proper protocols in China
Hmm.
to make sure they
Yes, yes.
get you know
So
get.
they have the lawyers. Developers do have lawyers. In
Mhm,
Greece, it's not like in the States. In the States, you can close within 30 days. In Greece, it's a long process. It takes months,
mhm,
and it's a 6 month, 7, 8 month process to buy a house.
mhm.
It's not like in the US, and you have lawyers involved.
Yeah, that's right.
The one thing I will say about Greece and other countries, Mediterranean countries, is you need to trust who you're going to go to.
Mhm.
I grew up in Greece, so I I know the mindset of Greeks. I don't trust a lot of Greeks to do business with. So you need to know where to go.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Alexa, for sharing. I
You're
have to
welcome.
say, so see everybody, if you want to go to invest in Greece, you know who to talk
Let
to.
me know.
Yeah,
Or Phoenix.
or Phoenix. Yeah. 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 Oh, Greece and also, of course, Saudi Arabia now, right?
Saudi Arabia.
And and Middle East, right? Even though
We're
right
doing
now,
we're doing a lot in England too.
okay. In-
Um, yeah.
Yeah, England. I heard so I've talked to quite a few people. I was at actually at a leadership meeting last Thursday in Quebec. So it seems like England, that market has been a bit depressed, right? Because of what's happening right now. So
Yes,
yeah.
England is not in a good place,
Mhm.
but real estate in London is always good.
Yes, because
So
limited,
it's
right? Yeah.
it's yeah. So it's London. Is the London market.
Mhm.
I lived in England for 16 years, and we went through a lot of cycles like we did in the US. The London market is very rarely affected, and if it's affected, then it bounces very well. Every 7 years, they say that the price of London almost double. There is so much because students go there all the time
Mhm.
to study. It's not like the US that people are going to go to study in any state. There is only one place. And people from Europe, normally, if they go to a different country to study, it's going to be England and it's going to be London. They
Mhm.
have millions. So the other project, like I said last week, is educating parents to buy their kids a property when they go to college.
Mhm.
So that's one of the things that we're doing with London and the US for people who come in from abroad,
Mhm.
helping them invest there.
That's wonderful. Yeah. Thank you so much,
You're welcome.
Alexa, for sharing all the different things. I know over there 3 a.m. So or three almost 3:30 a.m. So
Almost,
I want to make
yeah,
sure you have the chance to speak first,
yeah.
before
It's
before
2:20, so we're my flight is at 3:50, so we're good. I
you're
still
good.
have
Okay.
time, but yeah,
Okay.
you can move
Great.
on.
And so, because we learned so much from Alexa, now I wanted to get to Anita because I know you're in the currency exchange. So Alexa talked about Golden Visa, all these different countries. Maybe share with us a little bit about your experience and also some of the, currency exchange. And then if anybody have questions about challenges right now regarding that. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So I've been working with CIPS people and global real estate uh, people um, for almost 2 decades, since like 2009. So I used to speak at a lot of CIPS classes. Alexia, are you CIPS?
CIPS?
CIPS, Certified International Property Specialist. It's a NAR designation.
No, no, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's, of course, you can take, it's a lot of fun. Not so much for commercial, but for residential. It connects you to a lot of people, for example, in Greece, you know, so that you have connections all over the world, basically. So I can tell you about that another point in time. Um, but it's very good to have somebody who is connected with currency exchange in the in the background when you're talking to people who are buying um, or selling and repatriating. Because at the end of the day, the difference in what your bank is going to charge you versus what you'd get if you have an account with one of the companies that I represent, can be thousands and thousands of dollars. I had a client once that was a snowbird. She was, in Canada, buying in Miami, and of course they're all cash deals because there's no bank in Canada that's going to finance a property, put a mortgage on a property in Florida, and the bank in Florida isn't going to do a loan for somebody coming from Canada who doesn't have a job or anything else. So it was a cash deal, and so the her account manager from the company I represent was keeping an eye on the which way the Canadian dollar was going versus the US dollar, the loonie versus the dollar. And the Canadian dollar got really strong for like a day. And so, he suggested that she do the currency exchange now. She didn't need to sell it to, send it to closing yet, but to buy now because the difference would make a big difference. And she opted not to. And then it went back the other direction. At the end of the day, it basically was a $14,000 mistake on her part. That was her kitchen remodel money. If she had just, listened to the person that was there to give her advice, which you will not get at a bank, they were literally watching the currency pair for her. So those things are important. And if you are able to give those, help your clients with that aspect of buying or selling, whichever direction they're going with their money, you kind of look like the hero. And I can always, if you on a future real estate webinar, if you want me to talk for 5, 10, 20 minutes, you tell me. I have PowerPoints of every length you could possibly imagine. Just to also just help people who are talking with their clients about what to expect, um, and to understand what happens with currency exchange. A lot of people don't even understand the system. They don't know what they're looking at when they're looking at a currency pair. What you see and the order you see it in matters to what's actually happening financially. So I'm happy to do that. So yeah, just reach out to me. Also for people who are doing business, because I know a lot of what we're talking about here is, maybe people investing in real estate, in one direction to get their golden visas, or maybe investing in the US. Same thing, to get a visa, to be able to stay here, to have a job, and I can help on the currency transfer side of all of those things.
Right. Well, Anita, definitely, if you could also send me an email, I'll leave my contact information. You can send me an email. We'll set up a time to, to have you discuss more in depth. But a couple questions I do have is that location-wise, in terms of currency exchange, is it over the world, or is it a specific area that you work in? Yeah.
Well, I can open accounts for people in the US, in Europe, Japan, a few countries in Asia. I can't do Australia anymore. But if people are receiving currency from other places, that's fine. There's like 140 currencies. So it just really depends on the currency
Mhm.
and what people are trying to accomplish. So kind of on a one-off basis as to what people need. But
Mhm.
yeah, you can send, if you have clients who are buying homes in Greece, and I highly recommend the island of Paros. I'm so in love with
Of course,
Paros.
it's gorgeous.
Oh
It
my
is
God, I can't wait to
gorgeous.
go back. Love it. The people are amazing. It's just fantastic.
Mhm.
But yeah, if you're buying somewhere and a lot of people are buying out of the country right now. That I can tell you. It's like more than ever. So it matters. So yeah, you don't have to worry about where it is.
Yeah, so one of the things as you just mentioned about doing transactions, right? Currency do fluctuate quite a bit, especially between even you talk about I'm last I mentioned I'm based in Vancouver, Canada, right? So for me, over the past month, the currency already fluctuated over 10%, right? So by that means is if you do a transaction from what you've seen in the past when people purchase in other countries, what's your recommendation in terms of if they do need to purchase a property or investments or even business, how long do you think they should have those money set aside in order for them to, to ensure that the deal doesn't fall through, right? Yeah.
So it depends on how long things are going to take. The nice thing about the company that I represent is that they get an account manager. So there are ways, so that's like having your personal advisor to help you manage the rate fluctuations. One thing you need to know is that the market changes on a second by second basis. When you walk into your bank and you see the rates up there for the day, that's not reality you're looking at. That is the bank knowing that the rates change on a second by second basis, adding that, then adding in the commissions they want to make. And what you have is a rate that's highly, highly inflated. Now, what you see when you Google a currency pair like USD CAD, US dollar, Canadian dollar, that's not all that's the rate you're never going to get because that is the interbank rate. Somewhere in the middle lies the rate that you're going to get. And when you let the bank do the exchange for you, they're building in a lot more fluff than needs to be. Whereas the company I represent, they lock that rate every 30 seconds. So if you know that you're going to make a purchase in 2 months, like you're closing in 2 months, that's when you're sending it to the attorneys in Italy or Greece or wherever. And you already have the money set aside in dollars. If you're working with your currency, your personal currency trader at the company I represent, then they can be keeping an eye on that currency pair for you. So like I said, the example of the Canadian buying the property, in Florida. So they can do a couple of things. They can lock in the rate. You don't even have to change it yet, but they can lock in the rate using a thing called a forward contract, which means that you put a 10% deposit down and you lock in the rate at what it is today. Let's say today it's like unbelievably good, like you haven't seen it this good in years, right? You can lock it in and you can do that contract for, let's say, 3 months. That means that you have to use it up by 3 months or they'll sell it back on the open market and you could gain or lose money. But the point is that you can lock in the rate rather than having to do the whole exchange right now and then having it sit around. So there's lots of different ways that you can do that and protect yourself, knowing that you have an ultimate destination for your funds in a specified period of time.
Mhm.
So there's people that help you with that, and
That's
that's one of the
great.
benefits. It's tremendous. It saves
Yeah.
people thousands of dollars. Yeah.
Well, I mean, even a lot of the import exporters, right? That's what they do,
Yeah.
right? They have to lock those, they have to lock those in. Without locking those in, I mean, those dollars amount is not small. Sometimes it's, at least tens of millions of dollars, right? That, right? So yeah, thank you, Anita, for sharing with us about the currency exchange. Yes, for that.
My
Thank you.
pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
My
Thank you.
pleasure.
Oh, actually, Scott just jumped on the call. So, Scott, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit and maybe if you have share with us a little bit about uh, Renaissance Global, any updates? Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Hey, everyone. So I work with Ellen and James Wong at Renaissance Global Network, and I don't know if you know anything about it yet. We have a full presentation that'll be coming later, which will include RealNex information, which is one of our technology partners, as well as Resas, another one. So I'll just give you just a real quick 5 minute on what we are, and then later do a bigger presentation as we're getting all of that together. So Renaissance Global Network is a we call it a broker agnostic platform, and so we welcome brokers from all the different houses, independent. Obviously we have a lot of EXP people there, but all the houses and all brokers are welcome, even residential agents, especially the ones that do crossover and a lot of commercial, which is currently our main focus, but we're offering a lot of tools and building it up for the residential side. So what we really have is we're putting together a lot of partners, industry partners that will give benefit to the brokers, both through discounts as well as just being able to have quality partners that we kind of vet. And also when you use the partners, be able to get a little bit back. And so, you can refer your clients there for, different services. You can use it. And so as we get a referral fee, we try to pass some of that on as well. So it's kind of a way to help your clients and make a little bit yourself, as long as we can. Some, as you know, we can't pay, but we don't have, on the commercial side, we don't have the RESPA laws and things that residential have. So as long as we can legally pay, then we always pay as well. And then the other part of Renaissance is a technology platform where we're going to have different technology vendors and partners. Same thing, they'll give discounts and let's see and then education will be another component of what we have. And again, I'm running right through this, so we'll have more later. We can give specifics, but on the training side, we'll have an education training part of the platform as well. So our partners will come in and educate on what they do. We got solar partners, we got capital markets partners, we have property management partners, all of these different segments of our industry we all interact with. And then the other part of the training is, new to the business agents, mid-level agents, different training. We have a list of coaches and mentors as well, and so people will be able to work with them if they want. But if nothing else, they'll be coming in and just giving talks and helpful information on the videos as part of kind of our platform and what we offer there. And then one of our main partners is Resas. And I don't know if you know much about Resas, but Resas is basically a communication tool between partners, brokers, and again, they're agnostic as well. And they've got a lot of residential agents. I think it's about 800,000 now, and a lot of them do crossover commercial. And so we're working with them, and they're going to be talking to their members about joining us. And obviously, we encourage people to use Resas as well. And what Resas is kind of an exchange platform where people can come. A lot of places have to use the MLS or have had to use the MLS. I know those rules have changed, but this is a way to do deal exchanges back and forth through their platform, and basically, find brokers in other areas to do referrals if you don't already have that connection. The Renaissance Group is using the Resas platform to also house our committees. So we have product specialty committees, we have multifamily, we have a deal exchange committee. Come in, submit your deals, share your deals live, let your clients know that you're doing that. We have asset management, capital markets. We're putting together a Latin America, Spanish speaking. So we have different committees and groups to just try to link all brokers together so that it's not just KW, it's not just EXP, it's all brokers getting together and exchanging and being a part of things. Even though every brokerage house has their own silo of things, this is a little bit more open and inclusive that way. So we have the product committees, different committees that way, the education training, we have the partner program, and then the other thing, and obviously, Ellen, you could speak to it better than me when it's time, is the global program. We're rolling out proper country specific. And so right now we're working on opening up Mexico and having Mexico have kind of the same thing. So in Mexico, they'll have their own, it'll be a Renaissance Mexico, which will have its own partner program, its own deal exchange just within Mexico. And same thing, they'll have their own education training. Obviously, that'll be in Spanish. And then once we have that template ready and rolling, then Ellen will be leading Canada. And then we already have people in place for the UK. We have someone already in place for Spain. I think China. I don't know. I think China as well. Ellen knows all that better than me. She handles the global side. So anyway, I don't want to go too deep into it. I know I've probably already gone way past, but that's kind of what we have. There's a lot obviously within that, and we'll keep sharing more. And once there's a whole formal presentation, then we can do it and bring out the sparklers and do a little dance and all that good stuff. So Was that good, Ellen? I know I popped in and then talked a million miles a minute, but.
No, thank you, Scott. Really appreciate it. We should be dancing every day. We should all be dancing right now
Oh, there
too,
you
right?
go.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Nice.
yeah, because we have all these enthusiastic people on here too, right? So just to sum it up, I think Renaissance Global is really a network where people in the real estate industry, a lot of people cannot get access to a lot of tools because technology tools, education, everything costs a lot of money, right? So by joining this network with a lot of leaders and mentors from various different organizations, you can learn from them and also get education from them, and sometimes get exclusive deals that you don't really see or hear, especially commercial deals. A lot of the large commercial deals usually they don't go on the MLS. Most of the people just brokers keep it within them. So if you're part of the network, you get the first-hand information on it. And of course, that's why we have all these different networks involved. So Scott will present more detailed information next time, but I just want to share this with everybody. But next, I want to make sure I get to everybody, before time's up. So yes, Anita, yes.
Want to let you know, Alexia just texted me they're boarding, so she had to
Okay.
drop off. She wanted you to know.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. Well, I look forward to her next presentation where she'll show us all the photos and videos of the places. Yeah. So next, I'll get to George, please. George, would you mind sharing a little bit about what you do and with everybody? Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. I'm not a part of the real estate industry. I have a company called GMOS Designs LLC, and we do illustration, fashion, technical design, and we also host creative events. The creative events we host is to encourage people to use their gifts and talents and help their community. So we have authors, we have illustrators, we have filmmakers, and they sell their work, and they also have opportunities to speak at different conferences that we have.
I'm muted. Can you
It's
tell me a
okay.
little bit about where do you host your events? Is it, in everywhere, every
It's in
state, or
the
is it
At this moment, it's in the city of North Miami Beach.
North
We
Miami?
host it right next door to City Hall. It's a place called the Marjorie and William McDonald Center, and it's been great there so far. We've been doing it since 2022, and we just had our last event, was just past February, and that particular event was called Beyond Comic Con, and it's a comics, fashion, and film event where we had a panel called Women of Power, and that was for actually 5 influential women who have done writing, they've done film, they've done costume design, there's fashion designer, and they all spoke about their different journeys. And it was to encourage everyone to use their creativity and the things that they've had since they were young to try and use those ideas and create something from that, maybe a book or something to actually encourage the community with.
Well, thank you, George, for joining this real estate group. I think all of us do need some creativity and also fashion, right? When we do real estate. So,
But yes,
if you wouldn't mind, put your contact information in the chat group, and then of course we'll reach out. I was just actually in Miami, I think in May. So, had I
okay.
known you before, I would have visited you over there. So, yeah. So, thank you so much for sharing. Yes,
Thank you for the opportunity.
thank you. And Benjamin.
Hey, hello everyone.
Hi,
I,
Benjamin.
I- I'm a local commercial agent here in Phoenix, Arizona. I mean, I mostly focus on industrial aerospace, and I have a nonprofit where I focus on spaceport development in Arizona. So that's one of the reasons I joined the Global Chamber, to have these international discussions regarding point-to-point flights in the future. I'm part of the Global Spaceport Alliance, so I know that we're actively looking at all the vehicles that are in contention, and the elevations, and the flight patterns, and all the political hurdles that are going to need to take place, so that we can get from Australia to Arizona in 3 hours in the future. So
In
that's
3 hours,
the future.
wow.
Yeah.
That's
Hold on
amazing.
for that.
Yes. So would you mind sharing a little bit? Because you did talk about like all the challenges right now with what's happening around the world, the aerospace, what are you seeing right now? Maybe give us sort of what you're hearing and the trends.
Well, there's only one big player, and that's Branson, Richard Branson,
Mhm.
Virgin Galactic, who's currently building the spaceship fleet here in Arizona. So he just moved to Mesa.
Mhm.
But if we're talking about actual challenges, it's just a matter of getting the vehicle that can do that flight in the numbers that make sense, right? Because
Mm.
he can do an up and down, but it's only 6 passengers. Even though they're a $500,000 a seat, it's really just a tourism kind of up and down. But if we're talking point to point flight, when we first started looking at this, we were thinking the price point is around $10,000. A businessman would pay 10 grand to get from Australia to Arizona to the United States in 3 hours. But
Mhm.
now it's looking closer to 50 grand. I mean, people will pay a lot to not spend all day traveling, quite frankly.
Mm.
So,
Right.
you pack in the work, you make sure you stay here long enough or stay in Australia long enough that makes it worth that investment. And that price point goes up. But even at 50 grand, you can't do it if you're only flying 6 at a time. So you really need a vehicle that has, at least 100 seats. And so if we're talking about actual challenges, it's getting the modern technology to make that flight routine. We can do the
Mhm.
flight, but can we do it routinely enough that you can expect to come back down in one piece? That's
I think,
right there.
wow. Well, what's in the news recently, so I think people are definitely looking at the safety of the flight too, right?
Yeah, but
But
those are
mhm,
rockets. Rockets are just giant firecrackers. I
yeah,
mean, if you're
mhm,
getting on a rocket, you can expect to always blow up. There's just no, you know, like the fact that we've been as successful as we have with
mhm,
rocketry is unbelievable. Quite literally an O-ring, and you're done. The wrong weather, and you're done. The fact that we're as good as we are at rocketry is amazing.
mhm,
But aviation is another. I mean, it's pretty much a known quantity, and when it comes to space planes, it's just the next evolution of aviation. You
mhm,
know, an airport becomes a spaceport, an airplane becomes a space plane, and a commercial pilot becomes a commercial astronaut. And it's really just punching through the atmosphere to get to the next level. And before you know it, you really are using just the Earth's rotation and the physics that aren't a big mystery to us to get from one side of the world to the other. It's not that complicated for these guys. It's becoming a joke. Being a rocket engineer used to be this thing that was very
mhm.
lofty. Hey, it's rocket engineer.
Yeah.
And I meet those guys every day, and they're 18 years old, so it's not that big of a deal anymore. Uh, but yeah, it's just a matter of putting. If we can get Branson to
Mhm,
if we can get Branson to fund the proof of concept flight from New Mexico to Oklahoma to Midland, that's a nice little triangular flight pattern. If we can get them to fund that, we could do a lot for proof of concept. Then we can start talking about going to another country, and finding out what that magic distance is, because there's a moving target. You have to be able to afford the fuel to get the flight, but you have to make enough money from the flight to afford the fuel and the profit. And it's a moving target because uh, flights above the atmosphere are an unknown quantity, and fuel prices are always up and down. So, what do you do about if you're a businessman? What do you do about that vehicle? So you really do need at least 100 seats to kind of look at it seriously. But a good first step would be Branson funding some of those proof of concept flights, and instead of just going up and down, going up in New Mexico and coming down in Midland. That would be nice.
So what kind of time frame are you seeing? Because from what you're talking about, it sounds like science fiction already. We're talking rockets, flying us everywhere to all the different places. But what do you anticipate? Like how many years would that take before we start seeing that?
It matters. This is a business decision. Yeah,
Mhm,
because the technology is there to do it now. It's not something that we'd have to wait to see if we can get the technology.
mhm,
Branson does have the space planes. They do go up, they do come down. The G forces, I mean, the G-forces aren't what we thought they were. We used to think you had to be in very good physical shape to do one of these flights, but you know, there's some people who are not very physically fit that have gone up in Bezos flights. So and those are 5G forces. So you know, at the end of the day, it's not as difficult as we thought it was going to be. It's still dangerous and it's still kind of a risk. You're still not a passenger. You're a participant in the space program. So there's no insurance for it. There's no guarantees that you'll come back in one piece. You know, that part is maybe the insurance and the legal aspects are bigger hurdles than the technological aspects. But the biggest hurdle is making the business case for the flights. That's the biggest hurdle. Yeah.
So Benjamin, can you put your contact information in the chat and maybe 1 minute talk about real estate? I'm sorry, this flight caught my attention so much that maybe tell me a little bit about specific commercial real estate. Do you have a needs and wants that you want to share with people here?
You know, I do international deals, but it's only when my clients need something overseas. You know, I partner with local agents. And I just kind of try to protect my client on my end of the contract. Unless it's a huge deal, I don't really travel for that. I travel more for the business development of aerospace, trying to bring companies to Arizona. You know, I don't do very many real estate events. I do a lot of aerospace events. You know, my nonprofit is focused towards aerospace workforce development. So, and here, when I do the deals here in Arizona, I like to say that I'm the only guy at my level that will still help out the little guy. You know, the little guy doesn't get any help. And if you're doing that deal, it's because you don't know what you're doing yet. And so you're probably doing more harm than good for that guy. And I think that's a big reason why 60% of small businesses fail within 5 years. They sign a 5-year lease that just hammers them for those last 2 years. And so I try to get those clients to sign a 3-year lease with 2 extensions. So we control the real estate for 7 years, but we're only obligated for 3. And then at the end of 3 years, we can really see if we made a good choice, bad choice, or, you know, we can really, you know, I've been doing this 10 years now. So that pattern has made its way around a couple times. And there's always been this, you know, sigh of relief from the client that says, I'm glad we didn't sign a 5-year lease. You know, now I know we need more space or less space, or this was a bad location. You know, it just helps them make it to the 10-year mark. You know, my discussion with those guys is always, are you in the 40% yet, right? Do I need to make an introduction to an accountant? Do you know how many tacos it takes to make the rent? You know, like just basic business 101 that they haven't really thought of yet. And can I get them to survive past that 5-year mark and and then, by the way, you know, that renewal after 3 is usually a really strong home run, because they're a known quantity at that point. And so even if we're choosing to move, we can use their current location as leverage. It's just a better strategy for the guy who's just starting off or is less than, you know, 7 years in business. It's just so I still spend 20% of my time on the little guy. That's kind of what I do. And I only stay on the tenant side of the tenant buyer side of the deal. So I never worry about, you know, representing landlords or developers. And yeah, so I've done those deals across the United States.
That's wonderful. I really appreciate it. So please share your contact information in the chats, and of course your foundation. There, we would love to learn more about it too. Yeah. I know we're almost running out of time, but I want to make sure. Theory, do you want to share a little bit? Are you available to speak, Theory? Hello, Theory. Can you talk a little bit louder? Can you talk? Yes, I love your background. You look like there's a Egyptian pharaoh costume right behind you, you know, all the different things. Yeah.
But I'm not a real estate advisor. I'm indirectly involved in the real estate industry. Why you have the Egyptian thing behind, because I know pretty much Egypt. My father left oil and gas in many countries of the world, continental countries. I work, if you look at the pattern of my team, you have really accepted that. Really accepted that social media firm like my friend Rahel Rafik. Rahel Rafik is a pioneer of the internet in Egypt.
So Theory, my apology. We're having a bit hard time hearing you. Yeah, would you mind just
Sorry, I'm asking you, sorry.
talk a little bit more loudly and slower, please, and louder? Thank you.
So basically, and that is my friend Rahel Zaki. And for those who don't know the high-tech industry in the world, you all know Silicon Valley in the USA. Perhaps a little bit for the extreme of that, because it's in Japan, Korea, Taiwan, SMTC, China, we're having that event there. And of course, Malaysia. Don't forget Kuala Lumpur. The bank in Switzerland is Singapore. And in the Middle East, Swiss with the bank is Dubai, and the Silicon Valley is the everything between the town of Cairo to Alexandria in Egypt. So a lot of the Silicon Valley is in Egypt, in fact, and the money is in Dubai. Wahel Rafik, donc, is a pioneer of internet over there. You look at my website, winning7.com. I have the honor to be his representative and helping. We do social media, small media business, rural territory, business development. We have a foot in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur, a foot in Cairo, Sharm Alexandria. And the link with the real estate is Security National Mortgage Company. For those who don't know, you have Security National Financial Company based in New York, and SNCM, Security National Mortgage Company, is headquarters here south of Salt Lake City, in Cottonwood Heights. It is one of the leader of real estate brokerage firm. There are 35,000 agents helping you for mortgage loans, renegotiating, and they approach Rahel to do their educational real estate home builders website called Community, COMMUNIE.com. It is a website you need to look for anything about building a home, doing a commercial retail, building a store, an architect, a bank loan manager, everything you need to know before buying or building a home. It is the home builders hub of Utah, and this is my internet. So I'm here to help promote community.com. This is my link with the real estate, hotel, and homes. So yeah, this is my link.
Thank you, Theory. And would you mind just putting the website and also your contact information? With marketing, social media, all the different things you're involved in, we would love to.
Yeah, because I'm very slow. You cut.
Yeah. So
you do one thing in 1 hour. Me, I need 2 hours.
it's
Exactly there for my ears because I'm suffering from this. So I represent the community of handicap, mental handicap entrepreneurs.
right.
Slow typing. So I will put it on the website.
Yeah, you can just send your contact and then we can reach out to you for the information. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Yes. Yeah, so right now it's 4:57. We actually get a chance to go around to everybody. But one person I forgot. He's the most important person that put everybody together. Is Cesar. Cesar, would you mind sharing a little bit about your background? Are you there?
I'm here, Ellen. Hey, yes.
Yeah, I know you're the most important person here, so I have to save you to last. You have about 3 minutes to share with us a little bit what you do and how you are doing to connect everybody together. You have a very important role in this, yes.
Yeah, no, that's right. Let me just turn my camera. I'll just hold a second now. So I've been working with the Global Chamber now for more than 9 years, and yeah, that's exactly my role. Is connecting members, making sure the members get busy with the connections, and plus the events, of course, and the different activities that we're doing. I'm from Puerto Rico. Spanish is my first language. I lived some time in Europe and 4 years in Mexico. And in Arizona, that's where I connected with the Global Chamber. And I'm back home for a couple of years now. My background is international trade, and that's how that's why I really like the Global Chamber. Is all international. It's all about trade and services, of course. So yeah, no, it's always happy to support. I'm gonna put my contact details there on my LinkedIn just in case. because I know Scott. I think I haven't connected with Scott, and so George. I think we're planning a call very soon. So looking forward to it.
Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you coming on this global call. Our next call, Cesar, would you remind, is going to be at 10 a.m. on July 2nd, 10 a.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time, okay? So, and so that will be our next call. It's going to be Wednesday, July 2nd at 10 a.m. Just to let everybody know, the reason why we change it from Friday to Wednesday is because we were anticipating a lot of international guests. If we do it on Friday, it hits into their weekend, and many of people cannot attend. So we do have a lot of people from Europe that do join us, and also from Asia too sometimes. So that's why. So looking forward to see all of you on our next call. Thank you so much. Thank you all for coming, and of course, let's connect with everybody. And Cesar, oh, I love that. Thank you. Yes. So all the different flags. Thank you so much, Theory. Yeah. So everybody, please connect with each other. And then if you have any question, feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is in the chat. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. I think it's the first time I see you moderating. It's been wonderful. So I'm actually, I have a couple of ideas for the event. So I'm going to be connecting you to some people about that.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Cesar. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, everybody, have a wonderful day.
Have a good one, everyone.
And be happy every day, okay?
Ciao.
Have fun.